Hello, hello, hello. How's it going?
It's going good.
Cool, cool, cool. So, if y'all don't know who we are, my name is Joshua, aka Jaybird, and I'm here with the one and only. Please introduce yourself.
Janelle Gary.
All right, all right. So, what I want to ask you, Janelle, is you said when you growing up, you weren't like completely into Disney a whole lot, but you watched the movies, or correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I'm not a Disney person in general, though I
Mm-hmm.
am a child of the '90s. So we all grew up with Disney,
Mm-hmm.
with Lion King, with Aladdin, with Little Mermaid, all of them. So, I mean, it is a cornerstone in my life. We all have a frame of reference to a Disney princess or just a movie that we all hit. Like that's my favorite because I've seen it and we've all seen it or know it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like having you on this show is that I feel it seems like you're like a neutral fan of Disney, so it doesn't didn't seem like you're
I mean, in some parts, yeah.
yeah, but that's good because like that means like I feel like there may not be like some biased opinion to where it's like you're a fan, but you're not a fan that's going to like Disney no matter what. Seems like there needs to be some like substance more than just style.
Well, I mean, we can still like things for just substance. I mean, I'm not hating on that either, but I mean, that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But
yeah.
one can't say that. I mean, because I would pride myself in saying I'm a Mexican American. Grew up in California. Bay
Mhm,
Area.
mhm,
Born and blood.
mhm.
But to not, you can't talk about Disney without it being part of something culturally of your own life, especially here on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah. No, I
It
got you.
is
Yeah.
we all whether it's something where you grew up with watching it animated,
Hmm.
or nowadays being like Pixar or freaking Lucasfilm. I mean, Disney owns everything nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
They do. Yeah.
So
For best or worse.
in either way, you can't avoid it. But this is coming from someone who, in their formative years, this is kind of like talking about Disney.
Hmm.
Um, as someone who wouldn't consider themselves a Disney person,
I
I
used to.
still
I
have a
used to
lot to
be. I mean, I
say.
used to be like really big on the Disney. Like growing up, watching it as far as like as a kid watching these movies, not knowing how much money they made at the box office or
Mm,
how people rank them. It's more of like I'm watching all these movies. Like as a kid, Snow White to whatchamacallit, let's say Snow White to Aladdin. I didn't see any of these movies in theaters.
okay.
I saw Aladdin was probably like the
Mm-hmm.
first Disney movie I saw in theaters. So I'm watching all these different movies, and I would just watch each one of them like for a week. I watched the same movie, and then I moved to
Yeah.
everyone. It didn't matter if it was like movies from the Golden Age, Silver Age, or Dark Ages. I liked them all like I guess you could say equally for different reasons. I just didn't know exactly why I liked them more than I did. Um, but yeah, Aladdin was the very first Disney movie I saw in theaters. So I was grown. I was able to watch all the most of the Renaissance films in theaters.
Okay.
So I was glad I was able to experience that in like thing like oh man, Aladdin's so great, Lion King, because three of my favorite Disney films are from the Renaissance era.
When you see the Renaissance, and you
Yeah.
started with Aladdin,
Mm.
what would, and I think I got the inkling of what we're kind of gearing towards
Mm.
because I have a little gearing towards a different era in the Disney lifespan, if you
Mm.
will. When you see the Renaissance, you said you started with Aladdin.
Yeah, well, well when Little Mermaid came out, I was just
Yeah.
an infant, like a toddler. So they probably if they did take me, I don't remember anything in it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
gosh, a Little Mermaid. That was it for me and my girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a turning point where I think that's where I felt like I started to differ. Like when we all started to like, who are you gonna be when you grow up? This is where those questions arise because
Mm-hmm.
Little Mermaid was kind of it for some of my girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
primarily Puerto Rican girlfriends. I'm sorry, that's the Islanders, man. They love Little Mermaid and Ariel. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I mine was Mulan. Sorry, I'm all about Mulan, but
Oh
that's
yeah,
different.
oh yeah, definitely. Well, I do want to get to a topic about like from Little Mermaid to Milan about as far as like the progressiveness of not just like the Prince and Princess, but the self-titled character of a movie.
Yes, thank you.
Because yeah, like
And then we can talk about like also the darkness of the origin stories of these stories that Disney loves to put a little positive spin on.
oh yeah, well like I mean when I heard that, no, I get you were just saying. When I heard that, I'm hearing that from my brother and my cousin when they were saying like, like me as a kid, I'm just watching this like really amazing, entertaining film that had great animation, stories. So I'm just thinking of it as like how I first watched it, not thinking about all the stuff outside
Uh-huh.
behind the scenes. Able to just enjoying it as a young kid who, I mean, it didn't have to be Disney movies. There's other movies I like besides Disney. Like some people may think Ferngully is a Disney movie, but
Oh,
it's a Disney movie now because Disney owns
oh
Fox.
no.
But on the
That's
initial release, yeah,
another
they should,
conversation
yeah, for
because
another
we're talking
time,
about the
yeah.
Disney that we grew up with. And you're talking about not
Mm.
as us, but you're talking about as a generations,
Oh yeah, it's all
starting
different people,
from
yeah.
like my grandmother on to my
Hmm.
mother to myself to even people who would be my children's age if I had children.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just glad I was able to experience the Renaissance in the theater. So,
Hey.
but hey, if everybody's like happy with whatever era, like whatever age you were able to go watch it in the theaters, not really knowing what the movie's about, but coming out like enjoying it, like either quoting the movie or singing the songs, or I
Mhm.
can't wait to get the action figures or go see the new parade or ride at
Especially if
Disneyland.
they had music to it, because you know that there is. I mean, let's get started with the music and
Oh
songs
yeah,
that we
yeah,
know.
yeah.
We're just like singing along while we're like lining up in recess, or even nowadays, shoot, like waiting in line for the ATM or some shit like that.
You sing Disney songs during that?
Just
That's cool. I mean, I might start doing that. I just never thought about it that way.
okay. So I don't know if you remember one of our old classmates from Chabot College, Mauricia, her daughter.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
She played Ursula just
Mhm.
recently earlier this year.
Oh, I think
for
I
this theater
saw.
company.
Yeah, yeah.
I swear to gosh,
Hmm.
she effing nailed it
Hmm.
and made me cry and laugh and clap my hands and make me
Mhm.
want to be a movie villain just watching her doing it. It was
Okay.
just astonishing and made me so proud. And then
Mhm.
also, it made me feel like a kid again because the whole production just kind of
Oh,
brought me back to
yeah,
when I saw The
yeah.
Little Mermaid as a child, but then to
Yeah.
seeing it in real life and like the whole,
That's cool.
breaking that
What I
up.
liked in Disney movies, it was more of the sidekicks, the villains, like the
Okay.
main villains, or the
Yeah.
sidekicks for the villain, or the sidekicks for the heroes. As far as like the main heroes, I thought they were cool. I rooted for them, but I was like, okay, when is like Timon and Pumbaa coming on, or like Shinji, Banzai, and Eddie, like that are gonna help Scar. Like going back to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The Seven Dwarfs are the reason why I really like Snow White, and they have the first great villain, the Evil Queen.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
mean, there's not much to say after that.
yeah,
First
yeah,
one,
yeah.
first great,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Evil Queen.
The Evil Queen and the old whatever. What is she like? The Evil Queen, and then she turns into the. They call her the old lady or old hag. Like I hate saying hag. That's kind of messed up, but like that's what they said.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Nor
but
do I claim to.
yeah, but I did recently watch that. Like, okay, went to Disneyland back in like I think it was like the beginning of September with my brother Sam, and before that I went back to like, all right, I'm hyped up for Disney. Let me go watch some Disney movies or some like Mickey Mouse cartoons. So I watched, went back and watched all the Disney, like most of the Mickey Mouse cartoons, and oof, they're
Oof.
yeah, yeah.
Oof is right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'll say this: WB cares about the way they treat Bugs Bunny more than they treat Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
Than Disney treats Mickey Mouse, because in the Mickey Mouse cartoons he gets really like I mean I know he has to be like the positive role model for Disney, but he gets picked on by a lot of things. Like
Well,
yeah.
I mean, and this is where I kind of delineate from being a Disney fan versus like a Warner Like, I was all about Space Jam. I'm all about the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like the old. To be fair, it's all racist before 1999, and even then, it's debatable.
As a kid who loved watching the sing along for Zippity Doo Dah, because I never saw this. I never saw like I never saw like a Song of the South as a kid.
That Raina, she had like 3 seasons of We Sing Along videotape VHS tapes of like Disney songs. Like it's they're a series on VHS where it's similar to karaoke, where you have like an animated character guiding you through along a series, and it's themed. Like maybe the first one is like fairy tales, and the second one's like history or.
Wait.
They're called we. Shoot, it's a Disney's We Sing Along series on VHS, and we had like 3 of them. Raina was all about them, and I mean, no lie, they're catchy as fuck.
Are you talking? Right? Wait, so you're not? Are you not talking about the sing-alongs that were on the VHS? Like the first sing-along said hi.
This might be the thing we're talking about that we're combined and it's isolated as strictly.
You said, but you said we, right?
We.
Oh, I mean, I thought you said we. I'm like, yeah.
You might have said we in there, but I don't know because you're talking about a video cassette tape from like 30 years ago.
So here's what I just remember I had the very first sing along was a sing along volume 1 Hi Ho, right? And yeah, they had a thing.
I'm pretty sure it's the same series you're talking about. It sounds, and it would have like a little Mickey Mouse head going, highlighting the.
No, yeah, they'd be like the bouncing ball right there. You find the light. Yeah, but you're saying like here's the theme song. They had the owl come out from his tree, and he was running on the branch. He drinks his coffee, tosses it, and he goes into a school. He's teaching the kids certain things. Is that the intro?
Well, I mean that's one of the, yes.
That's one of them. Okay.
That is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then the intros into whatever the theme of the whole series is going to be for that tape.
Yeah. And then so it was the owl. I forgot his name. Like he would teach class, but then the other host he would introduce them if he wasn't doing it was.
The music is popping up in my head.
Easy songs. It's Disney sing. Yeah. See. Yeah. Oh yeah. Come on now. I used to watch that all the time. All right. Like here it was. It was. I don't know what his name is, but like it was the blue owl with the glasses.
Hopkins, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't even know if it was anybody like famous. But like okay, so here's the other host was Jiminy Cricket and Professor Ludwig von Drake, who was like a duck related to like what's it called, to Donald Duck or Scrooge.
Or Scrooge, exactly.
Yeah, but everybody knows Jiminy Cricket. The worst conscience you can get from Pinocchio.
I could not. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen Pinocchio in its entirety as a child, but if you asked me to like follow it, pinpoint, like, okay, he turned into life.
Okay.
He got swallowed by a whale. Maybe before or after he was turned into a donkey. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So Pinocchio is my 4th favorite animated Disney film of all time. Yeah, and I used to like. I kid you not. I've watched all the Disney movies. Like I said, let's say Snow White. I watched for a week over and over again. Then the second week, Pinocchio. Like I'm just giving you an example of like how often I would watch all these Disney movies that some people may have forgotten.
Can I ask you,
What's
how
up?
old were you at that time?
Shoot.
Whatever age.
I'm trying to think. Like, I would say, whatchamacallit. All right. Maybe I would say 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Let's say I was like 6 or 7 when I was. Whenever Aladdin came out, yeah, I was in elementary school when Aladdin came out. I would watch that, but I would go back and watch, Fox and the Hound, Great Mouse Detective, Pinocchio, Dumbo.
To watch that.
I go back, yeah. The Disney movies from like Snow White up until like, let's say Mulan or Tarzan. Yeah. I go back to rewatch occasionally because those movies, I just thought they're like really like engaging. Like there's something I liked about them. Yeah,
because they're freaking like Oscar nominated, and obviously they wouldn't be allowed to keep producing movies like that. I keep saying shows like they're a play or something like that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We wouldn't keep talking about them if they weren't good. Or relevant in any way.
Yeah.
But you're also talking about a time in Disney where they were past the. I mean, when Disney first started, they were. Was it 1920?
So 1930. I think it was like 1930s.
We're just getting out of the Depression era. All right, so we were primarily watching movies just strictly for escapism, or if they had the last 2 cents or 3 cents to see some kind of freaking movie.
Yeah, when did the Great Depression? What was that?
That was primarily in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken,
20s.
going to the 30s.
Okay, so the thing is, I remember looking up research about how.
I'm really bad at the history. I'm off by a whole decade. But
of the Great Depression or Disney?
I'm pretty sure it was like late 20s going into 30s. But with the Disney, I just know that the dime store, like movie, cinema, all that really came into fruition and really flourished and thrived was when people were like, hey, I've only got like 2 or 3 cents. What am I going to spend it on? Is to see some freaking thing at the show, like a Disney movie, because it was like you can see freaking Steamboat Willie or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
For less than a dime and get away from their whole regular life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and definitely. And when I looked up, I realized it. Like Steamboat Willie, there was like Disney just focused like on like the Mickey Mouse shorts. I think it took like maybe a year before Snow White came out, which is like the very first full length animated feature film. Which without Snow White, we ain't got none other than some people would just. I think at the time people were just like. You lost your damn mind. Nobody wants to see a full length, more longer than 20 minutes or 30 minutes,
Exactly. And also, too, to utilize a lot of, you're talking about at that time, the animation being used and also the audio recording at the time. Because I'm pretty sure, wasn't like the Snow White opera singer?
Tell you the truth, I'm not sure. And it's messed up? I heard Disney didn't want her doing singing or anything else. Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah, exactly. So whoever it was something that Disney wanted to make sure nobody else got a hold of.
Exactly.
And they wanted no, this is just Snow White's voice. That's anything.
These some power monopoly moves.
Oh,
before that was a thing in cinema monopoly.
So 1937 is when the Snow White 7 Dwarfs came out, and I believe it was like around 1929 when Steamboat Willie came out. So I went back and watched like all the well-known Mickey Mouse cartoons. Like first it was like Mickey, Minnie, and Pete, his arch nemesis, and then eventually Goofy came on, but he was Dippy Dog, I think, or something, and he was like a villain. So I went back and watched let me see the very first episode that Goofy was on, or Pluto was, like all like the Disney family, like Mickey, Donald, Goofy. Which the only Mickey Mouse cartoons I really really liked is with Donald and Goofy. And then other ones, I love Donald, Goofy's like own cartoons and when they're teamed up together. But Mickey Mouse to me wasn't really that funny. He just was in all these messed up situations where he like when I said Bugs Bunny would always get one over on Elmer Fudd all the time. Mickey Mouse, every once in a while he'd come up on top, but other ones he would end up like you ever heard of the episode called The Mad Doctor? Mad Doctor?
No, I don't think so.
It is like, I forgot how old when I watched it, but I'm watching it like, this is pretty messed up. Dark.
It's all messed up.
No, like this one, like I'll say this, even in, like, you know how like they would show the cartoon shorts before the movie starts? This stuff got banned in Germany.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, how do you get a cartoon banned in Germany from America? Yeah, like.
Okay.
No, look up the Mad Doctor. Yeah.
I mean, like, I can take your word for it.
No,
I just think about where like a lot of the origin stories of what we consider the Renaissance Disney film era, like with Little Mermaid or Snow White, where they're dark stories to begin with, and then just to kind of pluck them against a really pretty Disney foreground with the animation with fairy dust and
Yeah.
squishy dresses. Um,
But go ahead. I
I-
want to add on something to that. If you
well,
need
I
to
just
finish
think about
up.
my favorite Disney movie, which was made, I think, during that time. No, I think it's actually made shortly after Snow White.
Your favorite Disney movie?
My favorite Disney
Of
movie.
all
Now that I think
time?
about it, of all time.
Really?
I step away and I
Can
come
I
back at
can
it.
I guess it then?
Yes.
So you said it was made shortly after Snow White, right?
Now that I think about it, it was not made during the Renaissance.
No, because
Earlier.
well, Snow White. Okay, so there's the ages there's the Golden Age.
Yes.
There's the I think the War era,
It's
and then Silver.
I can't I don't know before. I just know it's not during the time of when the princesses really came into play.
Well, the funny thing
But
is,
I'm gonna let you guess.
all right. Now, okay, can you do you know what year it came out of, or
It's early.
early like 90s, 80s, or
Earlier than that.
okay, so you're saying it's okay. So if we're talking about it came out a little bit after Snow White, there's only been like I think 5 movies that came out, like 4 movies that came out after Snow White before they entered the War era. So I'm going to guess it's Dumbo.
No.
Okay. All right. Can I get what letter does it start with? And I'm gonna get it automatic. I'll get it automatically.
Whatever clue I give you, I would presume you would get it.
Mhm.
So I'll just put it this way: it's
Uh-huh.
not just one story.
Oh, okay. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Is the leader of the club who's made for me and you? Is he in one of them stories? You know who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? Is MICKEYMOUSC? Is he in this movie in one of the segments?
Yes, he is.
Okay, that is your favorite Disney movie of all time, and I'm going to guess it.
Yeah.
Fantasia.
Yes.
How many Disney movies have you seen? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's like I'll say this. I like certain segments of that movie, but as a kid, it was never one I would go back to rewatch a lot.
I would rewatch that constantly, and I think it really is because of the aspects that I think we all now appreciate about any Disney movie that comes out, no matter what production company comes out with it, is their ability to use. I mean, especially at that time when that movie came out, you're talking about the top of its game. Me using air quotes as I speak, about utilizing the visual technology and the sound technology at the time. I mean, they even made a scene out of it in the freaking movie. Like, I'm going to do this motion, and I'm going to go and talk to an animated Mickey Mouse right next to me. Like, I mean, hello? Who framed Roger Rabbit? This was before that.
And Roger Rabbit perfected it.
I'm not,
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I'm not arguing with you.
But
I'm
but
just
but then
saying,
again, I get what you're saying, but
this
you
is
gotta
what made me feel like a kid, and it constantly makes you feel like a kid. Especially when you're talking about those concepts about life and death. You don't get that without that dinosaur one. And then the freaking fairies, and the freaking nutcracker one, and the
you're talking about wait, are you talking about
it's all in Fantasia.
you're talking about the
That's
first
all
one,
I'm
right?
saying.
Not 2000, right?
Yes, let me specify. I'm only speaking about
Thank you.
the earlier Fantasia and not the Fantasia 2000. No matter how cool that whale scene was, let me tell you something. We were all cheated out of that one.
Well, not me because I didn't watch it.
Well, you
Yeah.
walked out.
I lucked out, walked out.
Well, I mean, when I used to babysit, I would be able to put the old school Fantasia on, and all of us kids would just sit there quietly and watch it. No complaints. We were all entranced.
I'll say this though, like as I got older, there's certain movies as a kid I didn't really maybe you said I didn't really care to watch or appreciate it, but as I got older, the movies I appreciated a lot was like Bambi and Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh, Bambi!
yeah.
Ah, ah,
Yeah.
my heart!
Yeah. Like
Oh,
that 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 movie is one of those things where it's like, this is part of life. Like how like in the forest, like for example, Miami's mama gets killed, gets shot. Spoiler alert. And there's no like, oh, he's gonna get revenge or he's gonna stop the person that killed his mom. Like it's straight up. He has to like live with his dad and grow up in you know a world without his mom, which is kind of like how it is in real life. So I love the fact that Disney, like, well, I mean, nowadays I don't know if they would make a movie like that. Like I felt like Disney did a.
isn't that what Finding Nemo is all about?
That's another good one too. I remember I talked to somebody who really liked Finding Nemo, but he's all at the beginning I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that the mother and all the babies got eaten. He's all, but I felt like maybe eventually they were gonna find them, like the mother and babies, and it's one of those things where I think even though okay, so we're talking about how Disney tries to make these dark stories, these
It's
dark grim
not
stories.
dark, they're just real. I mean, they're
Yeah.
true. They're honest.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
they're
Well, we're
honest.
talking about the grim stories of like they had an unhappy ending, but I think maybe sometimes Disney did capture the grimness of certain parts of the stories.
Well, it can't resonate true for generations without being resonated as honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the reason why Roald Dahl still resonates for us today. Like I say playwrights, but writers of stories where, without being dark about it, I mean, that's the cycle of life. Parents die, friends go away or die, pets die. Shh, not you, Yogi. Shh, it's okay.
Well, let's not get too dark, but I think I get what you're saying. Like, let's not lose the touch of reality.
It's the
Introduce it to
reality.
our kids that may show like there might be some struggles in life, but hopefully, eventually, there might be some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, but then that's the smart way of putting it, where you
Mhm.
have to show the highlights of it all, because what makes it worth it if it's not some drab, dreary story and we're just waiting for the freaking end or punchline to happen.
Movies nowadays.
Well, this is where I'm like, now we get into the style of storytelling. I'm like, are you a Disney person? Are you a WB person? Are you a Paramount? I mean,
Yeah.
I would not consider myself a Disney person, though Disney movies did define a lot of it frames a lot of how I feel and approach things in life. Like, don't get attached to things you love a lot because they may not last forever.
Yep. Good things never last.